Hello again, everybody. David Clary along with Dylan Woody and Caleb Riker here at CAK in Knoxville. We're getting ready for Oak Ridge High School baseball. The Wildcats taking on Leesdurg as we get ready for the ball game. I'm going to run down the starting lineups if we have enough time. I think they're out of Florida. We were told, Coach Etheridge told me they were out of Virginia, but I believe they're out of Florida. As I struggle to get some work here. Wildcats are coming off their first loss of the season last night. They lost 3-2 in the hands of the Hardin Valley Hawks. The Wildcats are now 8-1 on the year and 3-1 in district play. Wildcats will play 2 tomorrow. They'll be in action against a team at Providence out of Florida, and they'll also take on the Jefferson County Patriots. The games will be at 12 and at 3 o'clock. We're trying to work the 3-camera operation today, so bear with us. Hopefully we'll have a good broadcast as we're waiting. The umpires are here. We're waiting for the final conversations to take place, and we're just moments away from baseball, and I'll get the starting lineups for you in a moment. Welcome back once again to CAK, getting set for Oak Ridge High School baseball. Running down the starting lineups for the Wildcats, leading things off and playing center field will be the junior Warren East. Batting second will be the designated hitter Parker Free. Batting third will be the third baseman Mike Teasley. Batting fourth will be the first baseman Joseph Webb. Batting fifth will be the right fielder Carson Fagan. Batting sixth will be the shortstop Jaden Sheverton. Batting 7th will be the second baseman, Jonah Wolf. Batting 8th will be the left fielder, Isaiah Wilson. And batting 9th will be Andy Hudson. And looks like Kipton Fagan will be the catcher in the ball game. We're just moments away from baseball here at CAK. A beautiful day, much warmer than it has been the last couple days. It wasn't so bad yesterday, honestly, at Hardin Valley, but 2 nights ago it was pretty chilly at Bobby Hopkins. As we're just moments away from this one. Remember, we have a doubleheader coming up tomorrow at Farragut. 12 o'clock will be the start time for the first ball game, and I believe the first game is against I think Jefferson County. I hate to say that. I was kind of wrong yesterday. And Providence Academy out of Florida will be the second game. That'll be at 3 o'clock. We've got Caleb Riker and Dylan Woody here with us. My name is David Clary. Looks like Mike Kelly is with us as well. And we're about to get underway here from CAK. Pitcher for them. They only gave us their first names, unfortunately. His name is Trevor. So Trevor's pitching for Leesdurg. Here's the long throw. It goes into shallow center field, and we're about to get underway. Warren East will step in. Warren reached base twice yesterday, had a single and a walk as he steps in to start this ball game here on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. We appreciate all of you watching. We appreciate all of our sponsors. And Dylan's going to be running the nice scoreboard as here we go. It'll be Warren leading things off against Trevor. And high school baseball is underway. Here's the pitch to the plate. It's down low, a ball. 1 ball, no strikes, the count. Looks like the Wildcats brought everybody today. The dugout is totally full of Cardinal and Gray. As Warren steps in, batting from the right side. From Youngstown State, that's where he's committed to. He takes ball 2 down low, and the count is 2 balls and no strikes. As you can see, we're running multiple cameras today. Dylan's got the switcher. He's got the scoreboard working as well. You can see our sponsors as well. 2-0 pitch. That's a called strike at the numbers, and the count is 2-1. Warren will be followed by Parker Free, then Mikey Teasley. Coach Free told me last night he was going to try to give some of the regulars some time off, in particular his son, who's caught just about every ball game. 2-1 pitch. That's a called strike at the belt, and the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Wildcats wearing their gray jerseys with Cardinal jerseys with gray numerals, gray pants. Leesdurg wearing predominantly white and orange. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2-2 pitch. That's ball 3. Low and outside. And the count is full, 3-2. Pretty decent crowd on hand for this 4 o'clock ball game. I asked Mike Kelly earlier if he was had to work today, and he looked at me. Basically said, You've earned your retirement, I know, Mike. There's a 3-2 pitch. It's ball 4, and it's a good start for the Wildcats. As Warren earns a walk, and the batter now will be the designated hitter, Parker Free. Parker had a rare 0-for-3 ball game last night against Hardin Valley. And I think that's one of the reasons Coach Travis Free decided to give him a day off from catching. It's such a grueling position. He's been probably the most consistent hitter for the Wildcats all season. And he steps in batting from the right side. Another junior. He's committed to play ball at Kennesaw State in his future. But like Warren, he's also a junior. Runner going. Ball is down low. It's a called strike. And that is a stolen base for Warren East. So the Wildcats have a runner in scoring position and nobody out. And a no ball, 1 strike count. Dylan, in a minute I'm going to ask you what you have been doing for the last week. Deserting us, doing ball games. Parker back in. No balls and 1 strike. Good lead by Warren at second. The pitch. Breaking pitch stays inside. And the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. I mean, I'm looking at that dugout, and it is loaded with players. I mean, he's brought the junior varsity as well as the varsity. Of course, we've had a lot of simultaneous junior varsity ball games with the varsity. 1-1 pitch to Parker is hit in the air. Right side, drifting into foul territory and out of play. And I just noticed, Mike, that anything hit to the right side, we're not going to be able to see.
No, not at all.
That is Mike Kelly. He's one of our sponsors of Oak Ridge High School Sports on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. Sponsored basketball and baseball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Warren East takes his lead off of second. Another 1-2 pitch. Hit in the air again, foul. Off to the right and out of play. Starting on Monday, the Wildcats will be going down to Gulf Shores to participate in the tournament for a third, maybe the 4th year in a row. The Wildcats won it last year down in Gulf Shores. Trying to repeat. Parker back in. Mikey Teasley's on deck for the Wildcats. Warren off a second. Here's the pitch. Hit in the air deep to right center field, very deep. It's going back to the wall. It's going to bounce 1 hop off the wall. Parker's got at least 2. Warren East is coming around third, and he is going to score on a stand-up double by Parker Free, and the Wildcats lead it by a score of 1-0 here in the top of the first inning.
That was crazy.
Mikey Teasley will be the next batter for the Wildcats as we play here at CAK. Tomorrow we'll be at Farragut for 2 ball games. Not playing the Admirals. I've been asked that several times. Not playing the Admirals until I think it's the next to the last series of the year for the Wildcats. And that'll be a big district ball game, District 4. Wildcats participating in District 4 for the first time since 1979, actually. Been in District 3 ever since then. Mikey steps in, runner at second. Got a courtesy runner in. That pitch is a down low ball. One ball, no strikes. Right-handed throwing Trevor. Ball hit on the ground. 2 hops to the third baseman, fields it, throws on to first, and he has to make the tag on a nice play, and that is out number 1. The throw kind of took him off the bag, but he was able to apply the tag, and that is out number 1. Batter now will be Joseph Webb. Joe accounted for one of the 2 runs the Wildcats scored last night in the loss to Hardin Valley with a line drive home run to left field. Got short dimensions here. It's only 300 feet. Down the line in left, dead center, it's 350. So you get the ball up in the air here, it's gonna go. The right side is a little bit deeper as that pitch is a called strike. In contrast, I believe Bobby Hopkins to left is like 357, and it's much. This is almost like 300 feet is almost like a softball dimension field. It's a little deeper to the alleys, 330. To left and right, pitch to Joey. Did he go? I think he did. They asked for help. They say he did not. I thought he did, but we'll go with that. 1 ball, 1 strike. Wildcats have plated a run on the double by Parker Free. Joe back in. 1 ball and 1 strike. 1 out, 1 in. Runner at third for the Wildcats. Trevor checks the runner. I apologize, I don't have his last name. Breaking pitch, hit foul. Whistled over towards the Oak Ridge dugout, and the count is 1-2. One ball, 2 strikes. Junior Joseph Webb, he's committed to play at Vanderbilt. Cut on a miss. Swings through that one, and that is out number 2. Better now will be Carson Fagan. Carson will bat from the right side. The Wildcats have put 1 on the board. Let's see if Carson can get a 2-out base knock here and bring in run number 2. Carson steps in. The pitch to him, cut on and missed. And that's a swinging strike. And the count is no balls and one strike. I don't want to annoy you ladies in front of me, but okay. No balls, one strike, one run in. We're in the top of the first inning. Oak Ridge on top of Leesdurg. Trevor comes to the plate. The pitch to Carson is hit in the air. Foul territory, drifting towards the right side. It's out of our view, and it's actually out of view of the fielders as well. And the count is 0-2 to Carson Fagan. Carson will be followed by Jaden Cheverton, but there are two outs here in the first inning. Runner takes his lead off of third. Working from the stretch. Here comes the 0-2 pitch to Carson Fagan. Hit in the air, left side, shallow left field. The shortstop back, and he makes a grab for out number 3. The ball was not hit that hard. It was high enough for the shortstop to get back, and he also made a pretty kind of a spectacular catch to make the play. And that is out number 3. So the Wildcats strand a runner, but they do plate the first run of the ball game on the RBI double by Parker Free. We go to the bottom half of the first here at CAK. The Wildcats on top, 1-0. We'll be back on YouTube in a moment. The Leesdurg team comes to the plate, batting from the left side. Leading things off for them will be the right fielder Jackson. The first pitch from Isaiah Wilson is a ball outside. And we're underway here in the bottom half of the first inning. 1 ball, no strikes, the count. Isaiah comes to the plate. There's a fastball in there for a called strike at the knees. And that evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Pitch to the plate is cut on and missed. And Isaiah's ahead in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. We're on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. We appreciate you watching. As Isaiah quickly comes to the plate, that one's down low, evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. We're a little cramped up here, Dylan, aren't we?
Yeah, a little bit. My knees are touching 2 seats.
Well, if you weren't 6'9", maybe you wouldn't have that issue. As that pitch is out of the strike zone. I think we got a full count. Here's the pitch from Isaiah. It's in there, hit on the ground, foul up the first base line. And the count remains at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Isaiah's pitch, here it comes. That's up high, and that's ball 4. So a good start for Leesdurg as they have their leadoff man. The Wildcats got Warren East on base to start their first inning. And the batter now will be Noah, the center fielder. Runner at first. We'll check the infield for you at first base. Got Joseph Webb. Right-handed hitter. Isaiah checks the runner. Short lead at first. Being held on by Webb. Here's the pitch to the plate. Squares to Button, takes a strike. The ball's in one strike. We broadcast live here from CAK. Home of Spencer Strider. Played baseball here. Now member of the Atlanta Braves. Coming off of Tommy John surgery from a year ago. Trying to get back to the form that he had a couple of years ago. Velocity is a little down, but they have a big sign out front as we walked in here, kind of honoring Spencer Strider. Throw over to first and easily back to the bag he goes. Nobody out. One on for the Leesdurg team as they bat here in the bottom half of the first inning. Wilson comes to the plate, squares to bunt, hits it right back to him. He's got one play, and that is to first, and that's a sacrifice bunt for them, and that moves the runner into scoring position. The batter now will be their first baseman, and his first name is Nate. And it looks like he's going to be another left-handed hitter. Wears the number 3 on his jersey. Leesdurg steps in, batting from the left side. Runner at second base. The Wildcats up 1-0 as we play in the bottom of the first. Here comes Isaiah Wilson's pitch. Breaking pitch hit on the ground. One hop to the second baseman. The Wildcats field it and throw on the first in time for out number 2. Wildcats have a different look today. And Coach Bree told me he was going to kind of switch things up to give some people a little bit of a break. As the Yellow Jackets step in, this time it'll be Mario, the catcher. Right-hander. They have a runner at third now. Here's the pitch, hit on the ground. Third base side, Mikey fields. Oh, he can't field it. Goes under his glove, and that'll be an error. And they have the first run of the game for the Yellow Jackets. And as Mikey made his approach, he didn't put the glove down to the ground, and it went under his glove, and that is an unearned run, and it's tied. We're all tied at 1. Shortstop, whose name is Dylan. They've got a courtesy runner in the ball game now for the runner at first. An unearned run against Isaiah. He got the ground ball he wanted. Mikey just didn't get the glove down on it. One our score. Pitch is hit foul. Back our way. If you look at the field here, about all the fields around this area kind of look the same in terms of the netting and the bricks that are around, but the stands here at CAK very, very small, and it doesn't help that we have taken up the entire top row of this section. If Mike Sheehan was here, we would be in trouble. There'd be nobody sitting in this section, as that pitch is a called strike, and the count is 0-2. Mike's always watching, so I'm sure he heard that.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mike.
No balls and 2 strikes. Quick throw over to first, and easily back to the bag he goes. Timeout is asked for by the Yellow Jacket player. They're out of Florida, making a little tour. We'll play another Florida team tomorrow. Providence Academy, as that pitch is down low, a ball. The count is 1-2. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first inning in a 1-1 ball game. Isaiah Wilson is your pitcher. The Wildcats. Isaiah working from the stretch. Short lead at first. The pitch hit on the ground. Shortstop fields it. Has one play, and he makes it. Nice throw across the diamond for out number 3. So the Wildcats give up a run, an unearned run. We go to the second inning here at CAK. The Wildcats and Yellow Jackets are tied at 1 apiece. We'll be back on our YouTube channel in a moment. Top half of the second inning about set. While I have an opportunity, let me run down some of our sponsors who've helped us out with our broadcast. We appreciate Laura Lynn Green with State Farm Insurance. The Oak Ridge class of 1989, and they want me to point out to people, they encourage people to get other classes involved, and not only, obviously sponsoring us would be nice, but just get involved with all things athletic or academic at Oak Ridge High School, whether it be maskers or sports. And as the Wildcats come to bat here in the second inning, and leading things off for Oak Ridge will be Jaden Cheverton. Jaden is a sophomore. He bats from the right side. Nobody on, nobody out. Second inning, the pitch to him is just a bit high, and the count is 1 ball and no strikes. Dylan, you and I just get to sit here, but look at old Caleb over there. He has to stand the entire time and operate 3 different cameras. He's running back and forth from all 3 cameras to do work. 1-0 pitch. That's up high. That was high, but he called it a strike, and the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Nobody out, nobody on. Actually, I'm a little bit too close to be attacking the umpires. I'm sure he can hear every word I say, so maybe I should do it a little bit louder. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pitch to the plate. Breaking pitch is high and inside, and the count is 2-1. It'll be Cheverton, Wolf, and Wilson, the scheduled hitters in Coach Travis Free's lineup. Jaden steps back in. 2 balls and 1 strike. Pitch. He didn't mean to. A little excuse me swing. He hits it foul over towards the Oak Ridge dugout. And the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two balls and 2 strikes. Jaden Cheverton back in. Right-handed hitter. As I mentioned, he's a sophomore. 2-2 pitch. That's up high. And the count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. I don't know. I don't guess these people, I guess I'm so annoying. Nobody wants to actually sit in front of us here. I'm surprised Mike's even sitting close to us. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Cheverton back in. Here's the pitch. Yeah, well, right up the middle. That's a base hit. Good start for the Wildcats. A leadoff single for Jaden Cheverton. The Wildcats, like they did in the first inning, have their leadoff man aboard, and the batter now will be Jonah Wolf. Got Jonah listed as a junior. I think he's another one of those transfer guys. I'm not really sure where he came from. Mike, do you know?
CAK and Hardin Valley both, I believe.
Okay. Well, we got the principal of Hardin Valley sitting right in front of us. Maybe he remembers him, but as Jonah works, you broke the tripod again, Caleb? It looks like he did. Anyway, Jonah Wolf steps in. He'll be followed by Isaiah Wilson in the Wildcat lineup. Runner at first. Draws a throw. He kind of took 2 steps. That move was interesting. He came off the rubber and then took 2 steps and threw it. Easily back to the bag goes Jaden Cheverton. Jonah back in. He bats from the right side. Another throw over to first and get away a little bit from the first baseman, but not far enough. 1-1 our scores. The Wildcats bat here in the second inning. They'll play a doubleheader tomorrow at Farragut. We'll hope you'll join us at 12 noon. I think that's the first game. The second game will be at 3. Short lead at first for Cheverton. Here's the pitch. Jonah squares to bunt. Hits it foul up the first base side. The count is 0-1. Coach Free belts out another play from the third base coaching box. Down at first base, looks like we've got Coach Kevin McKeithen in the first base box. Jonah Wolf steps back in. No strikes on him, nobody out. Runner at first in a 1-1 ball game. Runner going, the pitch is hit foul. Back off the screen and out of play. I guess one of the issues we have with using 3 cameras, we've got 2 of them that are not being monitored. That any foul ball, they're blasting into them, and then we'll be asking for even more money from people to purchase more cameras. We appreciate all of our sponsors, including the Fagan family, watching us down in Texas right now. We've got that guy in Boise, Idaho, watching as well. He's told me back-to-back days it's been 80 degrees in Boise. Another throw over to first, and he has an interesting move. I mean, it almost looks like he comes off and he takes almost like a step and a half and then fires it over to first. I don't know if you can see that on the screen as we broadcast here from CAK, the Wildcats. Trying to get something going here in the second. Gave up an unearned run in the bottom of the first after a RBI double by Parker knocked in the Wildcats' first run. Breaking pitch stays low and outside. And the count is 1-2. Wildcats coming off of back-to-back appearances at the state tournament. They've only done that one other time, and that was in the early 70s. Long ways from state tournament time, but the Wildcats would love to get back with a loaded roster for sure. This could be a special year for the Wildcats. They haven't really played their best ball, Coach Free told me last night, but they are 8-1, which is pretty impressive. They lost a district game last night to Hardin Valley in a well-pitched game by the Hawks. I mean, just a one bad pitch by Joe Webb resulting in a 2-run home run was the big difference in the ball game, and they won it 3-2. Pitch is down low. That's a ball. And the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Dylan doing our scoreboard. If you like this scoreboard, please tell us as compare it to the ones we have been using. Whenever Dylan's here, we're able to use this scoreboard. I think he's the only one who knows how to do it, you know. As not that y'all haven't tried, Caleb. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Runner at first is Jaden Cheverton. And once again, he throws the ball, and this time it gets away. Not too far away, but it is enough to allow Jaden Cheverton to get down to second base on the error by the pitcher. Low in the dirt, first baseman couldn't dig it out. So the Wildcats have the go-ahead run in scoring position with nobody out and a 2-ball, 2-strike count on Jonah Wolf. Checking the runner at second. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Ball hit foul off to the right side. The right fielder giving it a long look, but once again it's out of play. You know, Dylan, you're tall enough, maybe if you stand up, you might be able to see over the top of that dugout.
Maybe.
Mike's pretty tall too, but I think that was a little bit out of our reach. It's just a small little area here. What really kind of surprised me, kind of reminds me of Carson Newman's field with very few stands as well. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Jonah. He hits it again, foul. We've had a lot of balls going in that direction. I think there's a truck that just got hit. Mike, was that yours? That's Mike Kelly, one of our sponsors. He's a realtor at Betsy Coleman Realty. Big supporter. Mike, I don't think he's missed a ball game this year. Maybe the first game, Central maybe, or did you go to that one? Okay, McMinn County. So he's a big fan. That's more than me. I've been in Atlanta most of the time or doing things. As the pitch is high, I think he did swing, and that should be a strikeout, and it is. That is out number 1. Mike says he has his reservation. I don't know if Coach Free wants to hear that, Mike.
He doesn't have to listen.
He will, though. He listens to every ball game afterwards. As the batter now will be the pitcher, Isaiah Wilson. The Wildcats have a runner at second. That's Jaden Cheverton. 1 out. Andy Hudson's on deck for the Wildcats. Andy getting a chance to play. Like I said at the top of the broadcast, Coach Free, there's a drill to center field. The ball is over the center fielder's head. His first step was in, and that ball was well over his head. Rounding third and coming in to score is Jaden Cheverton, and that'll be an RBI double for Isaiah Wilson. He hit the ball hard. The center fielder misjudged it, and those are the hardest things. I played center field a little bit when I played back in the day, and when the ball's coming right at you like that, it is difficult to tell if it's going to go over you. But you're taught as an outfielder the first step should be back. And he took about 2 steps in. And by the time he did, he realized that that ball was over his head and it rolled to the fence. But it's only 350 to dead center there. It just resulted in a double. So the Wildcats have a runner in scoring position, and they have taken the lead 2-1. Josiah McClure is the courtesy runner for the Wildcats. He's a freshman. Got a chance to meet him down at Truist Park last year. Nice kid, very nice kid. Member of the football team as well. McClure takes his lead off of second. I think maybe Coach Free figured this might be a game where he gets an opportunity to play a lot of players, and I love that, to see that, because a lot of these guys won't see a lot of varsity action. Called strike to Andy Hudson. The count is no balls and 1 strike. On deck for the Wildcats is Warren East. Warren earned a walk. We have a mound visit, and gives me the opportunity to continue to run down our sponsors. Laura Lynn Green with State Farm Insurance. Chris Corwin, the class of 1989, Oak Ridge High School. He does a lot. He built that little pavilion over at Blankenship Field. Sexton Automotive of Oak Ridge. Todd Fox with Fox Insurance Company. Donnie Sharp with East Tennessee Spine and Sport. I mentioned Betsy Coleman Realty and Mike Kelly. We also have the Fagan family as our sponsors. My camera guys are very happy that they get paid. We love that. As here's McClure drawing a throw back at second base, and easily back to the bag it goes. 2-1, Oak Ridge on top. On the RBI double by Isaiah Wilson. Helped his own cause. As Andy steps in once again for the Wildcats. No balls and 1 strike. Pitch is a little bit outside, right at the knees. Look pretty good from here, but we'll take it. Even count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Fans are filing in. There'll be another game to follow, not involving the Wildcats. McClure takes his lead off of second. 1 run in. Got 1 out here in the second. Pitch. Down low, a ball, and Andy's ahead in the count, 2 balls and 1 strike. Andy Hudson used to be one of our camera guys. I think he was probably in the 7th or 8th grade when he did a couple football games for us when we were in need of a top camera guy. I was taller than him then. Not anymore. 2 balls and 1 strike, 1 out. Pitch, hit in the air, right side, the right fielder in on it, and he has the ball drop right in front of him, and he makes the catch right in front of the first base bag. So he did make a nice play, but McClure is able to tag up and move over to third. But that is out number 2 here in the second inning, and the batter now will be Warren East. Warren scored the first run of the ball game, walked and stole a base, and came in on Parker's RBI double. They're going to do the appeal. But in high school, there's a rule in high school baseball where it's an automatic out. There is no appeal in high school ball. In Tennessee, maybe there is in Florida. So the umpire could have called him out immediately in Tennessee, at least in the old days. I remember Coach Froning telling me that years ago. As Warren steps in, 2 outs, runner at third. Pitch. Down low. Nice stop by the catcher. Kept it in front of him. There's not a whole lot of foul room behind the plate. Dylan, you switching shots a lot today?
Yeah.
Got 3 different views from here. Our setup was kind of frantic, and we didn't have much room to do it. As Warren steps back in, 1-0 pitch. There's a called strike. A quick throw down to third. Not in time. Before getting a chance to play. And I'm trying to remember if he played in any of the other previous varsity ball games. If he did, I don't remember it. I know he's played a lot in the junior varsity contests. Made a nice catch in the Maryville football game, I remember. As Warren steps in, as I mentioned, he's walked and scored a run back in the first, trying to drive in another. Here's the pitch to him. Hit foul. Back to the screen. The count is 1-1. Parker Freeze on deck for the Wildcats. Parker is the designated hitter today. He's hitting for Kipton Fagan, who is our catcher today. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Warren back in, holds the bat high above his head. Pitch to him hits him in the head. And he's on base for the second time. Kind of glance off his helmet. The Wildcats will have runners on the corners, and the batter will be Parker Free. Parker had an RBI double back in the first inning. Oak Ridge on top 2-1. We broadcast here at CAK on YouTube channel Prep Radio. I know Ben George is watching our broadcast. We appreciate Ben doing some of our games for us, and Alex Myers. Those two guys have filled in for me when I've been out of town or unavailable. 2 outs here in the second, a run in. Let's see if Warren goes on the first pitch. I would expect him to do so. And he was, but he drew a throw over there, and back to the bag he goes. Anybody familiar with Coach Free knows how aggressive he is on the base paths, and especially with Warren, who's got good speed. I expect him to go on the first pitch. He's going to throw over once again. The move is very slow, and Warren was going on the previous one, and he kind of got caught leaning, but he was able to get back because the move is slow over to first. No pitch to Parker as of yet. And he's not going on the first pitch, and he takes the ball. And now he's going to go. There's nobody covering the bag, and that's a stolen base. The Wildcats get a run. The Wildcats did a delay steal. Warren gets the stolen base, and so does McClure, and he comes in to score run number 3. And the Wildcats on top 3-1 and have another runner in scoring position. 3-1 Wildcats, and Parker batting. Had a double and an RBI his first time, and he takes a strike at the knees, and the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Pitch to the plate. Hit into center field. That's a base hit. Ball was hit hard. He's going to get the green light. Here comes Oak Ridge's Warren East. Here's a throw to the plate, and he is out, they say. That was a daring call by Coach Free. He expected the throw not to be as good, but Warren got under the tag there just as it was applied, and that is out number 3. But the Wildcats do pick up a couple runs. They leave nobody on base. We go to the bottom half of the second inning here at CAK. Oak Ridge on top 3-1. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back once again to CAK. Isaiah Wilson helped his own cause, picked up an RBI in the top half of this inning. And he'll face the 6, 7, and 8 hitters, and that one's just a little bit low, I guess. And the count is 2 balls and no strikes. Isaiah comes to the plate, 2-0 pitch, hit on the ground, first base side. Nice play. Fair ball, fielded nicely by Joseph Webb at first, and that is out number one. The ball was hit right down the line, got his glove down on it, only had to take a step on the bag for out number one. That was Jaden getting out, and batter now for them will be Dane Jones. Dane is the third baseman for the Yellow Jackets. And Isaiah's first pitch is a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1 out here in the second. 3-1, the Wildcats in the lead. Pitch. There's a called strike at the knees. And the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Isaiah comes in, breaking pitch, a beauty. Swung early and swung through it, and the count is 1-2. Brennan Price is on deck for the Leesdurg Yellow Jackets. There's another pitch a little bit high, but he swings and fouls it into the mitt, nearly of Kipton Fagan, who's catching today for the Wildcats. One of our prep radio crew. That ball's hit on the ground. Shortstop. Going to be fielded behind the bag. Throws just in time for the out. So the Wildcats get the out on Jaden Cheverton's throw. He kind of stumbled, I thought, as he fielded it, but was able to get the ball across the diamond for out number 2. Here's the left fielder, Brennan Price, standing in. He's a right-handed hitter. Nobody on. 2 outs here in the second inning with the Wildcats on top 3-1. Wildcats trying to bounce back from their loss yesterday to the Hardin Valley Hawks. Isaiah's first pitch is at the knees. Looked good from up here, but evidently maybe inside. The count is 1 ball and no strikes. Isaiah comes to the plate. There's a called strike. Dylan, it's a little different from basketball where we're in a nice controlled environment. Getting a little hot out here. I'll come back to you in a second after this pitch. Breaking pitch is a called strike, and it's 1-2.
Yeah, it's a little different than basketball. You know, basketball's inside. Kind of outdoors here, a little bit hot.
But it's nice. It's sometimes better than going to Min County, as there's a strikeout looking, and that is out number 3. So Isaiah Wilson gets him 1-2-3 in the second. That's his first strikeout of the ballgame. We go to the top of the third here at CAK. The Wildcats on top by a score of 3-1. And we'll be back to Christian Academy of Knoxville in a moment. Welcome back to CAK. We go to the top of the third inning. The Wildcats on top 3-1. We appreciate our friends from Leesdurg watching our broadcast today. The coach was going to let the families know that we were streaming the ball game. So far, it's a 3-1 ball game. The Wildcats leading things off here in the third will be number 3. That'll be Mikey Teasley. Mikey rounded out his first time. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game. Hamburgers are being cooked nearby. I can smell them coming our way. We don't have Caleb Jackson to give us a report on exactly how good they are. But I don't know. I've seen Caleb Riker eat before, and he might be one to give us a hamburger report here in a bit. They smell good for sure. 1 ball, no strikes to Mikey. The pitch to him is up high, maybe a little inside, and the count is 2 balls and no strikes. Joseph Webb's on deck for the Wildcats. Hit a home run yesterday. Pitched a fabulous ball game. Wasn't the winner in the game, but pitched great. The breaking pitch is hit in the air on the infield. And it's going to be the second baseman who makes the play, and Mikey is 0 for 2 in the ball game. And that is out number 1 here in the third, and the batter will be Joseph Webb. Joe was a strikeout victim his first time. That was back in the first inning. And he's 0 for 1 in the ballgame. Carson Fagan's on deck. I know his grandparents are watching down in Texas. I don't think they miss a ball game. They didn't really miss any, obviously, football games when Kipton was playing. And I think they watched a lot of basketball as well. We appreciate you and your support of our broadcast as that ball is hit back. And who was ducking? That was Dylan Woody. You were ducking. Yes, you were. There's a net right there, and you were ducking.
I was not ducking.
It happens. As Joe's back in. No balls and 1 strike. And no table to get under here, Dylan. Pitch is way up high. And the count is 1-1. Did you think it was going to hit you?
No, I didn't duck at all.
I don't know. There's some witnesses up here. I wish we had the camera on you. I'm sitting right next to you, and I pretty much saw you duck. He says no. We'll go with that. He's doing our good work on our switching and scoreboard work as that breaking pitch is hit on the ground. 1 hop to the third baseman. Loads up and fires. And they're going to say he was off the bag at first. That's a tough call. I mean, from my vantage point, obviously, he was right on top of it. But from my vantage point, it looked like he held it on. And he did lose it eventually. And I think the Leesburg coach is going to go talk to him. But, we're a long ways away. Maybe the camera work by our top camera guy at the top. Got a couple of Oak Ridgers up doing the broadcast for, I guess that's Diamond Clear, I guess. I'm not really sure who they're doing it for. Caleb Riker's doing 3 cameras today. Dylan the Ducker Woody is doing our scoreboard and switching work here.
Not the ducker.
As Wildcats do have a runner at first. And the ball was hit to the third baseman. He loaded up. It was a bang-bang play at first. I hate to give him an error on that, but that pulled him off the bag. As the batter now will be Carson Fagan. Carson popped out to the shortstop back to end the first inning. He bats from the right side, with Joseph taking his lead off of first, and he draws the throw, and back to the bag will go the junior Joseph Webb. Carson back in. On deck for the Wildcats is Jaden Cheverton. Jaden had a single, another throw over to first. Easily back to the bag will go Webb. 3-1 Wildcats as they bat here in the third inning. Tomorrow they play a doubleheader at Farragut beginning at 12 noon. And I think Dylan will be ducking our broadcast tomorrow. Here's the throw down on the stolen base. The throw goes into center field, but the center fielder was backing up, and that will be a stolen base for Joseph Webb. And the Wildcats have another runner in scoring position with 1 out in a 3-1 ball game. As we were driving in here, we drove past a duck pond. I don't know if you saw that one, Dylan.
No, I did not.
Carson back in. 1 ball, no strikes to him. Timeout is asked for by the senior. Did his early growing up down in Texas, where his grandparents are watching us tonight, or today, I guess. Joseph takes his lead off of seconds. Pretty good size lead. Here's the pitch. Hit well to left field. It's going to drop in for a single. It's going to get the stop sign as Joseph. It's a solid single for Carson. That's good to see. And the Wildcats will send to the plate now Jaden Cheverton. Jaden had a single his last time. Wildcats have him on the corners with 1 out, leading 3-1. Looks like we're going to have a conversation between the coach. Mike, you've seen the Wildcats play this year. Coach Free told me last night that he didn't feel the Wildcats had played their best ball, and I would kind of agree with that in some ways, but it's hard to argue about an 8-1 record.
It is, but like he said, I don't think they've really reached their full potential yet, but that's a good thing. So we're still winning regardless.
You don't want to peak in, March. I mean, you want to be playing your best ball in May, to be honest with you, and hopefully deep into May like we were in the last couple of years. The Wildcats have been to the state tournament. I mentioned this. They've been to the state tournament 2 years in a row, and that has only happened one other time for Oak Ridge baseball, and that happened way back in the 1971 and 1972 seasons. Bino, Jeff Henderson was a member of that baseball team. He's a loyal listener, and he's with Basilio. I don't know how he keeps up with that. I mean, hanging out with Basilio is kind of rough. I had to do it for about 6 months before they got another producer for him back in the day when I got a chance to produce the Dewey Warren Show. I don't know if anybody remembers Dewey, the swamp rat. As the Wildcats have runners on the corners, and Jaden Cheverton steps in for the Wildcats. Carson takes his lead off of first, not going. The pitch is a called strike at the knees. And now we have the delayed steal, and Carson's going to get a stolen base. That time, a little smarter on the part of the catcher. He didn't follow through with the throw, and which allowed McClure to score in the previous inning. So now the Wildcats have 2 runners in scoring position in a 3-1 ball game. With 1 out, the pitch. Jaden is taking the ball low, bounced in front of the plate, and the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. We're in the 3rd inning, I believe. Jaden had a single his first time. He'll be followed by Jonah Wolf in the Wildcat lineup. Pitch. There's a called strike. A little slow one. Comes over across the plate. And the count is 1-2. Jaden back in. 1-2 pitch to him. Hit on the ground to the shortstop. It's going to get the run in. Here comes the throw, and that is an out. But it's an RBI for Jaden Cheverton. And the Wildcats lead it now by a score of 4-1. Moving over to third goes Carson Fagan. 2 outs now. Wildcats on top 4-1. And the batter will be Jonah Wolf. Gonna bats from the right side. Runner at third, Carson Fagan. Wildcats have scored in all 3 of their innings to lead 4-1. Pitch, breaking pitch. Stays low and outside, and the count is 1-0. Isaiah Wilson had an RBI double his last time. He's on deck for the Wildcats. Carson a good lead at third. The pitch hit on the ground to the shortstop. A convenient hop. Fields it, throws, and he applies the tag. They're going to say the tag was applied, so maybe that's a couple of missed calls out by the field umpire. The people to our left didn't like the call, but that's the call on the play, and the Wildcats strand a runner. But they do score one to lead it by a score of 4-1. We go to the bottom half of the 4th inning. We are live on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. My name is David Clary, along with Dylan Woody and Caleb Riker will be back to CAK in a moment. Yellow Jackets. That'll be Trevor Long, the pitcher. Isaiah comes to the plate. Pitch is a little bit low, and the count is 2 balls and no strikes. Top of the order, and looks like Jackson once again. Trying to read Mike's writing on his last name. Top one. We'll go with Jackson. Apologize to his family if they might be watching. There's a pitch cut on and half-heartedly swung at, and the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Caleb Riker doing our 3 cameras today. Switching and scoreboard work by Dylan Woody. There's a ball down low. And the count is full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Number 9 hitter in the lineup. Wildcats on top 4-1. Isaiah comes in, cut on a miss. And that is a swinging strikeout. That's back-to-back strikeouts for Isaiah, and that's the second strikeout of the game for the big sophomore hurler. In the batter, we go to the top of the order, back to the right fielder who scored their only run back in the first. He walked, came in on the Oak Ridge error. Went out here in the 3rd inning. Kind of a slow-moving ball game. Yesterday's game just flew. 2 really good pitchers yesterday really threw nothing but strikes. We didn't have as many base runners yesterday. There's less than 10 hits, between the 2 teams. No balls and 1 strike. Isaiah comes in, ball is hit softly, foul up the first base side, and Coach Ball fields it. He's the pitching coach of the Wildcats, puts it in his back pocket. That's thievery right there, Dylan.
I can't do that one.
Did it right in front of all of us. No balls and 2 strikes. Isaiah comes to the plate. Shoulder lever pitch, a little bit high. Count as 1 ball and 2 strikes. Appreciate Mike Kelly doing as the ball's hit on the ground to the first baseman, Joseph Webb, who fields it and retires him unassisted. And that is out number 2 here in the 3rd inning. And the batter now will be Noah Hepburn. Noah had a sacrifice bunt his first time, so no official plate appearances. I know a lot of people are probably watching the Tennessee basketball game right now. I don't know what the score is, but we'll get a scoring update on that. I know Caleb was happy yesterday. His Texas Longhorns knocked off the BYU team. Kind of upset there as that pitch is hit in the air to right center field. Warren East calls for it. He's under it in right center field for out number 3. So 3 up and 3 down for the 2nd consecutive inning. We go to the top of the 4th here at CAK. Oak Ridge leads Leesburg, Florida, 4-1. We'll be back in a moment. Top of the fourth inning here at CAK. The Wildcats on top 4-1. It'll be Isaiah Wilson leading things off for the Wildcats. He'll be followed by Andy Hudson. Breaking pitch stays low, and the count is 1 ball and no strikes. Isaiah, his first time, had an RBI double, which sailed over the center fielder's head. He hits that one well deep to left field. That ball is going off the wall. Hit the base of the wall, and Isaiah has his second double of the ball game. That ball hit right at the base of the 300-foot mark, all the way down in left field. That ball, when it first hit it, I thought it was a line drive, obviously, and it didn't really have a whole lot of height, but it just kept carrying and carrying. And I thought, especially at 300 feet, that it would go out. But it's a double, and that's his second double of the ball game. He might be earning himself some more playing time as McClure is going to run for him once again. Wildcats batting with Andy Hudson. Anzi flew out to right field his first time. He is 0 for 1 in the ball game. Warren East is on deck. Here's the pitch. That's up high and inside, and the count is 1-0. Four to 1 Wildcats as they bat in the fourth. And as I mentioned, this game kind of dragging a bit compared to last night's game. I mean, both pitchers last night were just throwing strikes, and it was a really quick ball game. This one going a little slower. 1 ball, no strikes. Josiah takes his lead. The pitch, he bunts it up the third base side, fielded by the pitcher, and he is going to be called safe. It is an infield single for Andy Hudson. And the Wildcats have him on the corners with nobody out, and the batter will be Warren East. Warren has been on base a couple times. Walked his first plate appearance, took one off the helmet his second time, so no official plate appearances. He has scored a run. He's got a couple stolen bases to his credit. 4 to 1 Wildcats. Oak Ridge trying to get more here in the fourth. I would expect Andy to move early on in the count. Josiah is the runner at third. Andy Hudson is at first. Not going on the first pitch. That pitch is down low, a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Mike, as you see, when I'm calling a ball game, everybody seems to text me and call me all the time, and knowing that I'm on the air.
I do the same. I apologize.
And he's going this time. Ball is hit to right center field, and it's going to split the gap. It's going to be fielded by the right fielder. They're going to have a play at second. Warren is in with a double, and the Wildcats have another run on the board. That is an RBI double. In to score is McClure. And that'll be his second run scored of the ball game. And the Wildcats now lead it by a score of 5 to 1. The Wildcats will have runners at second and third, and still nobody out in the top of the order. Parker's the batter. Parker 2 for 2 in the ball game. Has a single, has a double, has an RBI. Pitch to him. He rips it to right field. That's a base hit. That's 3 for 3. 1 run comes in to score. Warren gets the stop sign, and now he's going to come in. There's nobody covering the plate, and the Wildcats score. The catcher and the pitcher both evacuated the home plate area, and there was nobody. And Warren saw that and came crashing home, and the Wildcats have another run on the board, and that might be the end of the day's work for Trevor Long. Wildcats now on top by a score of 6 to 1, I believe. 7 to 1. Thank you, Dylan. As we have a pitching change, we'll take a break. We appreciate you watching our broadcast on our YouTube channel. Baseball is a little tougher than any of the other sports we do because it's hard to actually set up. We have to sit in the stands most of the time. Don't have the comfort. Although the seats are nice. I mean, we don't have to worry about that. Maybe a little sweat coming with it. But we appreciate Laura Lynn Green with State Farm Insurance. We appreciate her. She's been with us football, basketball, and baseball. We appreciate the class of 1989. That's Chris Corwin. And he encourages all other classes at Oak Ridge High School. We've had several since the 40s to get more involved in Oak Ridge academics or sports. We appreciate Sexton Automotive. We appreciate Donnie Sharp with East Tennessee Spine and Sport. We also appreciate Todd Fox with the Fox Insurance Group, and Mike Kelly with Betsy Coleman Realty, and of course the Fagan family as well. Wildcats scoring at will, hitting the ball hard here in this inning. The lead at first, and the batter is Mikey Teasley. Mikey 0 for 2 in the ball game. He grounded out to third his first time. And then popped out to the second baseman his last time. He hits the ball to right field. Pretty deep. The right fielder going back on it. He's under it, though. And he makes it right. Makes the catch right in front of the fence, tagging and moving over to third. The Wildcat base runner. The Wildcats, look at Caleb. He does have the hamburger in his hands. The Wildcats have a runner at third, and there's now one out. Mikey is 0 for 3. Mikey hasn't found his groove at the plate yet. He's been pretty good on the mound for the Wildcats, but just hasn't really found his groove as of right now at the plate. He is 0 for 3 in the ball game. Batter now is Joseph Webb. He reached on an error, kind of third baseman's throw, pulled the first baseman off the bag, and he takes the ball down low. 1 ball, no strikes. 7-1 Wildcats as they bat in the 4th inning. Joe officially 0 for 2 in the ball game. The run scored and a stolen base. He takes ball 2 down low. Pitch to the plate. Breaking pitch hit foul. Back over the top of us and out of play. If you wonder why that one camera has not moved in a while, Caleb has made his 5th trip to the concession stand. As the Wildcats lead at 7-1. Pitch to Joseph is a little bit low. And the count now is 2 balls and 1 strike. 3 balls and 1 strike. Thank you, Dylan. Appreciate that. Joseph back in once again. Breaking pitch in there for a called strike. And the count is full now, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Carson Fagan's on deck for the Wildcats. Carson is 1 for 2 in the game. And a single his last time. Joseph calls timeout. The Wildcats have put 3 on the board. They have scored in every inning to lead at 7-1. Runner at third for the Wildcats. 1 out. 3-2 pitch. Hit foul. Back to the netting, and the count remains full at 3 balls and 2 strikes.
I didn't.
No, you didn't duck that time. But you did. Why don't you come clean with it? I mean, come clean with it.
Never did it.
3 balls and 2 strikes. Joseph back in. The pitch to him. Breaking pitch on the inside corner at the plate, but a little bit low, and that's a walk. So the Wildcats have runners on the corners once again with 1 out, and the batter is Carson Fagan, as I mentioned. Carson singled, had a stolen base his last time, reached on an error in his first plate appearance, so he is 1 for 2 officially in the ball game. Carson will be followed by Jaden Cheverton. Throw over to first, and once again, Joseph Webb is back to the bag easily. 7-1 Wildcats as we play here in the 4th inning at CAK. As I mentioned, last night's game went much quicker than this one. As that pitch is a called strike, Carson was ducking out of it, and he doesn't much care for it. Takes a little bit a walk, waiting to get back into the box, looks down at the third base coaching box where Coach Travis Free occupies. Runners on the corners. Joseph Webb is the runner at first. We've got a courtesy runner out at third, I believe. As Joseph's going, the ball ripped to the left field for base hit. That's another RBI, and Joseph comes sliding head first, and they're going to get the ball in, but not before Carson makes it all the way down to second base. So the Wildcats have the 8th run of the ball game, and that's another single for Carson. We'll give him an RBI. The Wildcats now lead at 8-1, and Joseph is the base runner at third. So Parker Free comes in to score. Run number 8. Now timeout is asked for. Wildcats Jaden Sheverton is the batter. Now we are going to have a pitching change. This will be the second time he's wandered out to the mound. Wildcats on top by a score of 8-1. We appreciate you watching our broadcast on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. My name is David Cleary, along with Dylan Woody and Caleb Riker. We'll take a break. We'll be back to CAK in a moment. Welcome back once again to CAK. The Wildcats on top by a score of 8-1. We appreciate our sponsors. We're going to be heading down to Gulf Shores, Alabama, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and hopefully, I think some games on Thursday, hopefully. We appreciate all of our sponsors who are going to make that possible. We've had some donations. You can see our sponsors at the top of our
Bottom left of this.
Bottom left. Thank you, Dylan. I haven't looked at the screen yet, but Laura Lynn Green with State Farm Insurance, the class of 1989 at Oak Ridge High School, who encourages all other classes to get involved. Sexton Automotive of Oak Ridge, Todd Fox with the Fox Insurance Group, East Tennessee Spine and Sport, and that's my good friend Donnie Sharp, the former Wildcat. We saw his mom and dad at the game last night, along with his sister, Leah Sharp Braden, who was a member of the 1997 State Championship Lady Wildcat basketball team. But we appreciate Donnie and East Tennessee Spine and Sport. Of course, and Mike Kelly sitting just to my right, Betsy Coleman Realty, and Carson Fagan's grandparents as well, along with Uncle Andy. That's one of our other sponsors up there. As the Wildcats step in, Cheverton takes one inside, ball one. Jaden on the ball game had a single, an RBI, and also grounded out, so he is 1 for 2 in the ball game. Ball's hit hard into center field. Oh, off the shortstop's glove, and the Wildcats are going to get at least one. And now they've got Carson caught between home plate and third. And here comes the throw, and here comes the run down and the tag. It bounces away, and he picks it up, and Carson scores. He tried to apply the tag on Carson Fagan. He dropped the ball. He would have been out, but he dropped it, and the Wildcats put 2 more on the board to lead it 10-1. It's another single for Jaden Sheverton. We'll give him 1 RBI. Well, I don't know. I think the error actually calls the other one as Carson scores another run. Wildcats now lead it 10-1. As Wildcats Jonah Wolf will step in. Right-handed hitter. Pitch to him is a bit high. Wildcats have a runner at second base. That's Jaden Sheverton. 10-1 Wildcats. Wildcats having a big inning here in the 4th. Pitch. A little outside. And the count is 2 balls and no strikes. Isaiah Wilson's on deck. Isaiah's had a good day. He's had 2 doubles, knocked in a run, and scored 2. His runner has scored 2 runs. There's another ball inside, they say, and the count is 3 balls and no strikes. Josiah McClure ran for Isaiah and scored 2 runs for him. His team on top 10-1 over Leesdurg, Florida. The pitch. There's a called strike. The count is 3-1. Mike Kelly doing my tweeting today. You can follow me if you have an X or Twitter, as they used to say, at DC Cat Voice. Pitch. Hit foul. Back out of play. Good job there, Dylan.
Yeah, I didn't duck, and I looked at it the whole time. Okay, catch it.
Count now 3 balls and 2 strikes. Jonah back in. 3-2 pitch. Hit well to left field. The left fielder back on it, and it goes over his head. I thought he underplayed it. It went over the top of his head, getting the green light. Will come Oak Ridge. Jaden Cheverton scores, and the Wildcats have a 10-run lead. 11-1 the score, and that is a solid single for Jonah Wolf and an RBI. And the batter, it will be Isaiah Wilson. The Wildcats trying to run rule the Yellow Jackets here at CAK. Right now they're up 10, 11-1 the score here in the 4th inning. Jonah takes his lead off of second. As I mentioned, Isaiah's had a really good game. He scored a couple. His runner has scored a couple runs. He has 2 doubles and an RBI. Andy Hudson's on deck for the Wildcats. There's still only 1 out. Is that correct, Dylan?
Yep, there's 1 out.
There's a called strike. Caleb Riker doing our camera work. He'll be part of the crew going down the Gulf Shore starting on Monday, along with Dylan. I'm not sure about that other guy, as that pitch is up high. 2 balls and 1 strike to Isaiah Wilson. Pitch. Down low, another ball. Isaiah's the pitcher of record. He's gone all the way, giving up the 1 run, and it was unearned. Pitch. There's a fastball at the knees for a called strike, and the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes, I do believe. Three balls and 2 strikes. The pitch. That's ball 4. And Isaiah's reached base all 3 times today. And the batter will be Andy Hudson. Andy had a solid single his last time. Flew out to right field his other time. He is 1-4-2 in the ball game. Wildcats are going to get Josiah McClure to run once again. Josiah has already scored 2 runs in the ball game. 11-1 Wildcats. First team will play down at Gulf Shore is North Little Rock, Arkansas. And that'll be on Monday. That ball's ripped the shortstop on 1 hop. They have 1 at second. Here's the throwback, not in time. And avoiding the double play, but they do get the out at second base as Andy reaches on a fielder's choice. Back to the top of the order we go to Warren East. Warren has been on base all 3 times today. He walked, scored a run his first time. Second time he was hit by a pitch and was caught at home trying to score. 2 stolen bases, and his last time he had a double and an RBI. So he's officially 1 for 1 with a walk and hit batsman. 11-1 Wildcats. Runners on the corners once again. The pitch to Warren, bounced to the plate. No movement at first by Andy Hudson. And the count is 1 ball and no strikes. We're running the scoreboard. That's what Dylan's doing. He's switching between shots, hopefully. I have to remind him sometimes. He has a lot of things going for him. You know, like ducking under tables when the ball comes creaming back to the net. He's just now recovering from that. And that pitch is a called strike. And the count is 2-1. Catcher Kipton Fagan is on deck for the Wildcats. It would be his first plate appearance. Hit foul back to the screen. Count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Kipton's a member of our prep radio crew. Helped us some in basketball. We appreciate him always. And of course his grandparents listening to us or watching us down in Texas. 2 balls and 2 strikes, 2 outs. Pitch to Warren, stays up high. And we got a full count once again. 3 balls and 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on. Wildcats up 11-1 over Leesdurg. The pitch, there's ball 4. And ball bounces away just a bit, but not far enough. And the Wildcats will have the bases loaded. And looks like Kipton Fagan will get his first plate appearance of the ball game. So Warren's been on base 4 times. Here comes Kip, been playing catcher the entire ball game. And he gets his first plate appearance here. Another conversation on the mound. The bases are full of Wildcats. Our score is 11-1. The Wildcats in the lead. As I mentioned, tomorrow the Wildcats have a doubleheader. It's at Farragut. First game will be at 12. And the second game will be at 3. One of the teams is Providence Academy. They're also out of Florida. We'll be playing them. And originally, the schedule this week has changed so many times. We were eventually, and I'm glad it changed in this way, we were going to have to go to Sevier County. But they kind of backed out of the ball game, and that's why we are actually playing here today against this team. I think they decided to play Kingston instead. And the schedule says Jefferson County, but I'm not 100% sure. We'll talk to Coach Free after the ball game. Wildcats looks like they're going to have another pitching change, so we'll put the mic down. We'll be back to CAK 11-1 Wildcats. When we return, the Wildcats will have the bases loaded. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back once again to CAK here in Knoxville. 11-1 Wildcats. Kipton Fagan bats for the first time today with the bases loaded. Slender sophomore steps in, facing the third pitcher of the inning for the Yellow Jackets. That pitch is high and tight, and the count is 1-0. Mikey Teasley's on deck for the Wildcats. Kipton batting for Parker Free. 1-0 pitch, hit foul. Back out of play. Parker really had a good ball game. I could tell by Parker's body language last night that he was kind of disappointed. He went 0 for 3 in the ball game. Today he is 3 for 3. 2 doubles and a single, an RBI, and a run scored. Parker being Parker again today. Pitch to the plate. Kipton takes one high and tight, and the count is 2 balls and 1 strike. Tomorrow we've got a double header, as I mentioned, at Farragut. Kipton back in. 2 balls and 1 strike. Ball tipped off the bat of Kipton Fagan, and the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Mike Teasley's on deck for the Wildcats, as I mentioned, but there are 2 outs. The base is full of Wildcats. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Pitch. All the way back to the screen, but not far enough. As I mentioned earlier, there's not a whole lot of foul room behind the home plate area. And wisely, the runner at third stayed put. Wildcats are playing a lot of different people today. We saw when we got here, as I mentioned, the first of the ball game, the dugout was totally full of Cardinal and Gray clad Wildcats. Kept him back in. 3 balls and 2 strikes to him. Pitch. Hit foul. Hit very well, but well foul. A couple of years ago, we were playing Maryville, and that ball would have been a home run. Caleb, you remember that one? Yeah. That was one of the worst calls I think I'd ever seen. That ball was so foul against Maryville that time, but they called it a home run. 3 balls and 2 strikes. I think our friend Rick Hendricks was not calling that ball game. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Pitch to Kipton. Hit softly into left field. Left fielder under it. He has got it for out number 3. But the Wildcats have a monster inning, and they lead it by a score of 11-1. I'd like to take another break here. We're live at CAK, where we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. 11-1 Wildcats. We'll be back on YouTube in a moment. Welcome back once again to Christian Academy of Knoxville. Wildcats, good news. Oak Ridge fans. Oak Ridge on top 11-1 as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Even better news, Cam Welsh, the senior, is making his first appearance of the 2026 season. Big lefty has been sidelined with an injury of such, and he fires one in there and called a ball. 1 ball, no strikes, but he popped the mitt, that's for sure. And Cam, like I said, just got his stitches out a couple days ago. And he comes in, the big lefty does, and there's a called strike at the belt. And it's good to have him back. I mean, as I mentioned, if you talk to anybody who's won a state championship, especially you talk to the Farragut people, you got to have 3 good, solid starting pitchers. And, coming into this season, there was some question whether Cam was going to make it back. But with Mikey Teasley and the addition of Joseph Webb, and now Cam Webb Cam Welch coming back. That's 3 good ones right there, and he's firing them in here. He's not wasting any time with breaking pitches or off-speed junk. He's just coming in with a hard ball, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nobody on, nobody out. As the Yellow Jackets bat here in this inning, there's a swinging strikeout, and that is out number 1, and that is Cam Welch's first strikeout of the season. Like I said, good to have him back. And batter now will be their number 4 hitter. That's Mario. He reached on an error his first time. Great job by Isaiah Wilson today. Gave up 1 unearned run, and other than that, he has been perfect. And that run came in the first inning. He got him 1, 2, 3 in the second and third. Replaced here in the fourth by Cam Welch, and he strike at the knees, and the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Of course, Cam's older brother, Kyron Welch, played for the Wildcats a couple years ago. Cam comes in, the pitch, just a little off the plate. Those behind the plate didn't agree. Should I be louder? 2 balls and 1 strike. Pitch. On the inside half of the plate this time. That evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. That pitch looked worse than the one previous, but we'll take it. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Cam comes to the plate. Oh, nice pitch. The outside pitches, he has lost his sight as Cam works from the stretch. Full count, 3-2 pitch. Hit on the ground, foul up the first base side. Joe fields it in foul territory, and the count remains at 3 balls and 2 strikes. 11-1 Wildcats. Dylan, we have anybody on the chat today? I'll come back and talk to you here at the end of this inning as the ball is hit. Foul and out of play. You know, Mike, we have to go back to the state tournament. We got to go back to Slick Pig.
Pig, exactly. And Toots.
Yeah. Slick Pig is something we did in basketball and baseball. There's called strike 3, and that's the second strikeout for Cam Welch, and that's out number 2 here in the 4th inning. And the batter now will be Dylan Montez. Dylan grounded out to short his first time. Appreciate our friends from Leesdurg, Florida, watching our broadcast today. In between innings, I'm going to go to Dylan to see if there's any questions or anything on our chat, as that pitch is a called strike. Cam Welch getting his first work of the 2026 season. The pitch is outside and low. Evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. 11-1 Wildcats. I'll be speaking to the head coach of the Wildcats, Coach Travis Free, after the ball game. Hope you'll stay tuned for that. Cam comes in a little bit high and outside on that one. And the count is 2-1. Caleb Reicher's doing our camera work. I appreciate we got cameras all over the field. We're like a major league broadcast here. 3 cameras. That pitch is a called strike. And Cam Welch is 1 strike away from striking out the side here in the 4th inning. Cam works from the stretch. The big lefty comes in. There's called strike 3, and that is out number 3. So he faces 3 batters, does Mr. Cheeto. And 3 up and 3 down, and he gets the hugs all around from his teammates as he returns to the fold as an Oak Ridge High School Wildcat. Dylan, on the chat, what do we got?
This is a question for you, David. So aren't we playing JC tomorrow?
So we're playing Jefferson County and Providence Academy. And that'll be a double header at Farragut beginning at 12 noon. Any more questions?
No more questions, just complimenting our work here.
Anybody, where are you listening from? If you're watching our broadcast now, tell us where you're watching from. I know we typically have Guam and Boise, Idaho, and Texas. If you're watching our stream right now, let us know where you might be watching. Looks like we're going to have a whole bunch of new guys coming into play. Going to lay down the mic here once again. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back once again to CAK. The Wildcats are going to insert a couple of new guys into the ball game. Leading things off for Oak Ridge will be Colton Bankin. Colton is a right-handed hitter. He's a junior. He'll be followed by, looks like, Braylon Payne. And hopefully his grandfather, Big Mike Friels, is watching someplace. Braylon's on deck for the Wildcats. He probably the best long snapper in the program. Wouldn't you say, Dylan Woody?
I don't know about that one, David.
Of course, Dylan is also a long snapper. Both of them are really good. You're good, and he's good too. So it's good to have two of you. As Colton takes a strike. Of course, we've got the kicking coach over here, and I'll put him on the spot here in a second as Colton steps in, takes a strike. Ball's hit on the ground. There's a base hit. Way to go, Colton. So Colton Bankin has a base hit. And Wildcats, the hit parade continues, and here comes Braylon Payne. I remember his mother was Allison Friels, who played basketball for the Lady Wildcats back in the day. Braylon steps in, right-handed hitting freshman, takes one inside. Mike, I'm going to put you on the spot here after this pitch. 1 ball, no strikes. Colton takes his lead off of first. Braylon back in. And the pitch. Got two good long snappers in Braylon Payne and Dylan Woody to my left here. You need them.
I would trust either one of them in the game.
That's politically correct, I guess. Dylan, 2 balls and no strikes. There's ball 3. Wildcats have Ian Koth, it looks like, on deck. Wildcats getting a chance to play a whole bunch of guys here in an 11-1 ball game. That pitch is high and tight, and on 4 straight, Braylon Payne walks. Here comes Ian. He's going to bat for the first time. I love it when we get an opportunity to play all these guys because they come to practice just like everybody else. And it's good to get in a ball game like this. And hopefully, I don't know how many of them are traveling down to Gulf Shores. That ball is hit in the air on the infield. Foul territory. The third baseman now in the fair territory makes the catch for out number 1. And let's see. Batter now for the Wildcats will be Cannon Sachs. Trying to remember if this is Sachs, I believe. Was one of, I think Sachs was one of the kickers, was he not? Yeah. And he takes one in for a ball, and I'll get Mike's comments on Cannon here. He's one of your kickers, isn't he?
Yes. Well, his brother.
I knew it was
Yeah, his brother.
I knew there was a Sachs who was a kicker for the Wildcats. This is Cannon. Kyler Sachs. Okay. No balls and 1 strike. The pitch, that's a little bit high. And the count is, what is the count? 2-1?
Yep, 2-1.
Thanks, Dylan. You're always good for helping me out of jams. Runner at first base, Braylon Payne. Runner at second base, Colton Bankin. Sachs back in, bats from the left side. The pitch, that's outside. The count is 3-1. Oh, we're about to get in trouble. I don't have a 25 on my roster, and he's on deck. I'll need some help from some parents as that pitch is down low and bounces away, and that's ball 4. And number 25 is the batter. And I'll get some parents' help here for number 25, who's not on the official roster. What's that? Levi Swingy. I remember his sister played a little basketball for Lady Wildcats several years ago. And Levi stands in. Bases full of Wildcats. That pitch is up high. Looks like Tri Sharp has grabbed the bat. Looks like he might get a chance to bat as well. Bases full of Wildcats. 11-1 Oak Ridge. The pitch. There's a called strike. Levi Batting for the first time in a varsity ball game, I do believe. Right-handed hitting freshman. Pitch is hit foul. Back out of play. Good job there, Dylan. Something got hit back there. I think it wasn't you, right?
Yeah, I know.
Bases full of Wildcats. Oak Ridge has scored in every inning in this game against Leesdurg, Florida. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Levi. He takes a strike, and that is out number 1. And the batter now will be Trice Sharp. Trice getting his first plate appearance. Trice, one of the Wildcat relievers for the most part. Last year was kind of the closer for the Wildcats along with Peyton Witter. As Trice steps in, Trice picked up a win early on in the year in relief for the Wildcats. I think it was against Maryville, if I'm remembering correctly. And he bats for the first time today, takes a strike. No balls and 1 strike. Bases full of Wildcats. That pitch is up high. Andy Hudson's on deck. Andy's played the entire game. Hasn't had many at bats this year, so it's good to keep him in the contest. He's had a good game. Cut on and miss by Trice Sharp. Of course, I know Trice's grandfather. He's a guy that kind of watches all of our ball games. Johnny Mallett. Bases full of Wildcats in an 11-1 ball game. 2 outs here in this one. Here's the 2-strike pitch to Trice. Is low and outside. And the count is even now, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ridge plays a doubleheader tomorrow against Jefferson County and against Providence Academy. Stay tuned for our post-game show after this one. We'll have some Coach Free. We'll have maybe some player interviews as that pitch is hit foul over the top of us and out of play. 11-1 Wildcats. Bases full of Wildcats. Colton Bankin is at third base. Braylon Payne is down at second base. I think that might be Ian at first base. And a pitch to Trice, bounce to the plate, and the count is full now, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Wildcats need about 3 outs in the next inning to close this one out. Next half inning. Pitch for the runners going. That's ball 4, and that's another run. Give an RBI to Trice Sharp on the bases loaded walk, and the Wildcats now lead it 12-1. And the batter is Andy Hudson. Andy reached on a fielder's choice his last time, had a single in his second plate appearance, and flew out to right his first time, and he gets hit. And that's a tough way to get an RBI. Hit by a pitch. And it's now, we might have another pitching change. The Wildcats will have the bases loaded. Looks like Josiah McClure is going to be the batter. Josiah has scored a couple runs in this one. But all Oak Ridge, Dylan, what can you say?
We're winning.
That's all that matters. I know. Wildcats were defeated yesterday for the first time this year, 3-2, and a really good, well-pitched game by both pitchers for Joe Webb and the Hardin Valley pitcher. Just a really good effort. And the Wildcats fell 3-2 in that one to drop their record to 8-1 and 3-1 in the district, and a good bounce-back game. Of course, this team from, they're giving a fight here, but they're not at the same level. We're about to have, I believe, the 5th pitcher of the game. So we'll have a doubleheader tomorrow, and then obviously no ball on Sunday. But we will have baseball for you on Monday from Gulf Shores, Alabama. We'll hope you'll tune in for those ball games. I know my crew would rather be out fishing, but we're going to be covering the ball games. As last year we went, and I think actually Caleb went twice last year. Got sunburned. He still has a mark from that sunburn from a year ago. Sunscreen is your friend, Caleb Riker. Remember that when we get down there tomorrow, or actually Sunday. Josiah's going to be batting with the bases loaded. Good chance to get a lot of people involved here. A lot of runs have scored for the Wildcats, 13 on the board. And we're about to get underway. The Wildcats will have the bases loaded with 2 outs. And I'm going to put the mic down just for a second. Josiah steps in, bases full of Wildcats. 13-1 the score. Kip Fagan is on deck for the Wildcats. Here's the pitch. That's high and tight. And the count is 1-0. Have you switched cameras recently?
I just did.
You're a good man. Pitch is cut on a miss by Josiah, also a member of the Oak Ridge football team, as is Kipton Fagan, who's on deck, still wearing his catcher's gear. 1 ball, 1 strike. McClure back in. Stretch. Here's the pitch. That's up high. And the count is 2-1. The righty comes in. Here comes the pitch. There's a called strike. And the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. A lot of different guys have gotten in this ball game. A lot of guys have contributed. It's been a well played game by the Wildcats. Their only run is an unearned run. And pitching has been good. 3-2 pitch. That's up high. Now it's 3-2. I'm sorry. It was 2-2. And the count is full to Josiah McClure. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Got cameras all over the place, as you can see. We've been using them today frequently. Here's the pitch, and he hits him. And there's another RBI in to score. Another run for the Wildcats, and it's now 14-1. The Wildcats have scored in every inning. Here comes Kipton Fagan. Kipton is 0 for 1 in the ball game. Flew out his first time. Bases still full of Wildcats in a 14-1 ball game. Pitch to him. Hit foul. Over to the third base side and off the netting, and the count is 0-1. Wildcats 3 outs away from their 9th win of the year. Wildcats trying to put more on the board here. They lead at 14-1. Pitch. That's up high. 1 ball and 1 strike according to the scoreboard. 2 outs, bases full of Wildcats. And this one's dragging a bit here, Dylan.
Yeah, I think so.
Now they've changed it. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. The pitch. That almost hit him. That would have been an RBI for the Kipper. But he steps out of the box, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Ball is hit in the air, left field. Left fielder drifting over towards the line, and that is out number 3. But another successful inning for the Wildcats. They played 3. They do it with a lot of youngsters as the Wildcats lead it by a score of 14-1. We'll be back to CAK in a moment. Welcome back to Christian Academy of Knoxville. Looks like we got a Dylan Skeens going to be taking the hill for the Wildcats. Wildcats on top 14-1. 3 outs away from a victory, and there's a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Batter for them is Jaden, the second baseman. Another strike there by Dylan. The count is 0-2. Are you bored there, Dylan?
A little bit.
Well, 14-1 is not a great one, as that pitch is a little inside, and the count is 1-2. Nobody on, nobody out, as the Yellow Jackets bat here in the 5th inning in a 14-1 ball game. Jaden calls timeout and steps out of the box. Dylan trying to retire him. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Hit foul at the plate, and the count remains 1-2. Wildcats are coached by Travis Free. As I mentioned, he's taken the Wildcats to the state tournament the last couple of years. Assistant coaches are Kevin McKeithen. That pitch is a little outside. Jeremiah Ball, Kyle Geary, and Jeff Ulrich. That's the coaching staff for the Wildcats. Dylan Skeens comes to the plate. Ball is hit to center field, fielded by the second baseman. Will he have enough time? Here's the throw, and he throws him out. Ball was hit deep in the hole, but the Wildcats make the play, and that is out number 1. Jonah Wood, I believe, Jonah Wolf was the man who made the play out in the infield, and nice throw, and that is out number 1. Dane Jones, the batter now. He grounded out to short his first time. He hits it on the ground to the shortstop, Sheverton. Here's the throw on the first in time for out number 2. Wildcats 1 out away from a victory here, leading 14-1 over the Yellow Jackets of Leesdurg, Florida. As Dylan Skeens trying to shut it down. Right-handed hitter steps in. This is Brennan Rice. He was a strikeout victim his first time. Dylan, big right-hander, comes to the plate. There's a called strike, and the count is 0-1. 14-1 Oak Ridge. We appreciate your watching our ball game. There's a breaking pitch. Oh, good-looking pitch. Umpire says it was a little bit outside. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, nobody aboard. 14-1 Oak Ridge. Pitch, cut on a miss, and he's 1 strike away from ending this one and giving the Wildcats their 9th win of the year. Price back in. Dylan Skeens comes to the plate. A little bit high and tight. Maybe a little outside instead. And the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. We'll have our post-game show afterwards. I'll talk to Coach Free and whoever he sends up here. And there's a strikeout swinging, and that's your ball game. The Wildcats win the ball game by a final score of 14-1. So the Wildcats up their record now to 9-1. The Wildcats will play a doubleheader tomorrow at Farragut beginning at 12 noon as they'll take on the Jefferson County Patriots and the Providence Academy team. As the two teams are shaking hands at center part of the field, and I'll try to run down some of the scoring of what we got here. And we got a lot of different players in, and hopefully I won't skip anybody. As Warren East, let's see, Warren today reached base all 4 times. He walked twice, had a double and an RBI, was hit by a pitch, stole 2 bases, and scored a run. Josiah McClure was hit by a pitch and picked up an RBI. Parker Free was 3 for 3 in the ballgame, a double, a single, and another double, had an RBI and scored a run. Mikey Teasley was 0 for 3 in the ballgame. Colton Bankin was hit by a pitch, I do believe. And Kipton Fagan played, was 0 for 2 in the ballgame. Joseph Webb, let's see, he had a single, reached on an error, stole a base, and scored a run. Let's see, Braylon Payne played, had a walk. Carson Fagan in the game was, let's see, looks like 2 for 3 actually, 2 singles, a stolen base, an RBI, and a run scored. Ian Koth played and was 0 for 1 in the ball game. Jaden Cheverton had a single and an RBI, actually 2 singles and an RBI. Sachs played and picked up a walk. Jonah Wolf was 1 for 2 in the ball game with an RBI. Levi Schwingy played and he walked in the game. Isaiah Wilson was the winning pitcher today. He had 2 doubles and also had a walk and had a couple of RBI, 1 RBI. Tri Sharp had a walk and he had an RBI. Andy Hudson started and played the entire ball game, had a single, was hit by a pitch, and also had an RBI. Final score of the ball game, Oak Ridge wins it 14-1. Here in a bit, we'll have our post-game show. We'll hope you'll stay tuned for that on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. The Wildcats now 9-1 on the year. And we'll put the mic down just for a bit, and we'll have our post-game show coming up in a moment. We're waiting to speak to the head coach, the Wildcats coach Travis Free, as the Wildcats have knocked off Leesburg, Florida by his final score of 14-1, and part of the Play for the Cure tournament, which is involving a lot of teams all over the area. As we wait, hopefully we got the right camera shot on right now. I would assume so. Dylan doesn't walk away. We're kind of shutting down our other 2 cameras. Get a chance to speak to somebody here in a bit. Thanks for tuning us in. We will have the doubleheader tomorrow, beginning at 12 noon from Farragut, not taking on the Admirals. Jefferson County was the original schedule. I assume they will be the opponent along with Providence Academy. I see the Wildcats clearing out of their dugout, and I don't know if I should send Caleb to go get somebody. I don't know if Coach Kevin McKeithen's wandering over this way. Eventually, we'll have somebody, and we're kind of locked in. There's not a whole lot of room here. Got another game that's going to start here in a few minutes, and we'll have we don't have a lot of room to do our post-game interviews. But usually Coach Free will bring us, himself, obviously, and then a player or two. We'll see. And we're not going to hold it too long because we've taken up so much room out of the stands here. Not a big fan of that shot there, Caleb, but you're kind of keeping an eye to see who's going to come out of that dugout. So far, nobody. So I'm going to put the mic down. If Coach Free or a player doesn't join us here in a bit, we'll just sign it off here. 14-1 was the final score. We'll be back to CAK in a moment.
Test, 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 test.
Zoom in. Zoom in. David doesn't want to be in it. Right there, that's good.
Welcome back once again to CAK. Joining me is Parker Free. Yeah. Parker Free, obviously 3 for 3 in the ball game today. coming off of a loss yesterday. Let's talk about that game first. You took on Hardin Valley, and just a great pitching performance by that guy and Joe Webb. But unfortunately, they made the one big hit, and that was the difference in the ballgame.
Yeah, we knew coming in it was going to be a really tough fight, really tough battle. We knew that we were going to get the guy that they had, and he's going to give us everything we got because he kind of has that little switch on him. He'll turn that switch up when he needs to, and he was dominant. But really, Joe, props to Joe going out there and shoving all the time, the entire time. But they just got that big hit.
So a good bounce-back game today against a team a little overmatched, I think, from Florida. I think Leesdurg, Florida. Talk about that game, this game today.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like we came in the gates. We knew it was going to be not an easier game, but we knew we had to do our job still. We came out a little flat, finally got those barrels rolling. Barrels got hot, and we just took off.
You know, I saw your body language after your third at bat last night where you looked upset with yourself. Today, though, 3 hits in the ball game. More like yourself. You've been so consistent all year.
Yes,
You've obviously bulked up in the offseason. You are much bigger than you used to be. Talk about your season so far. And
I just feel like, it's been a great season. I've been extremely blessed so far. God's blessed me with a lot coming in. And I just feel like last night was the baseball telling me, it's kind of humbling me, bringing me back down to center, letting me know that it's gonna have good, but it's gonna be really bad. You got to stay even kill the whole time. I'm just trying to stay even kill and trust the process and trust God's work.
You know, today your team got a chance to play almost everybody who was available. So I know that makes things a lot better for them in practice because they practice just as hard as you guys do. You got a doubleheader tomorrow. And a couple of things I want to talk about. You got Cheeto back on the mound, and he was humming it today.
Yes,
he looked good.
Yeah, it's great to have him back. He got in a little rough patch early, but had his surgery, had some things going on. But it's great to have him back. He's ready to deal and ready to dominate for the team.
What about this guy who's about to join us, Dylan Skeens?
Big Dylan Skeens, baby, shove day today. Yeah. Big Dylan, my boy, and coming in, all the ones who watch TikTok. Dylan had a perfect stand going on, didn't move the entire game, and then had to get in the game. But he went out there and shoved, so he earned that perfect sit movement.
So you got a doubleheader tomorrow. I think Jefferson County and
Jeff County and Providence
Academy. Do you know anything about
we know that they're going to be 2 great teams. They're going to come to win always. We got a big name now. Oak Ridge baseball's turned around, so we got a target on our back always.
So Parker,
Providence is always well coached.
Just your final comments on this win.
It's just a great team win, great effort from everybody around, great attitude, flipping the switch. Really had the dugout in it with us all game, and props to everybody else. And Isaiah on the mound, too, to go out there and shove early.
Thanks a lot, Parker.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. Let's get Dylan over here. I assume he's the guy. I'm sitting down because I'm old, basically. This is Dylan Skeens. So, Dylan, our first conversation. Let's get a shot of you and a little bit off center. Step back just a bit. You're a little bit too tall for the camera. So Dylan, you came in, got the last 3 outs of the game. How'd that make you feel?
Oh, it felt great. Just having my teammates there to support me and, just doing what I do, it felt great.
I know last night was pretty disappointing, you guys. You guys had rattled off 8 straight wins, lost to a very good Hardin Valley pitcher. I mean, pretty good. Good bounce-back win. How important was it to bounce back today after that loss?
It's very important for us. It gets our confidence back up. It gets everyone going again. And, it really pumps us up for the next games.
You've been a part of the program for a long time. Tell me your strengths as a player and why you chose baseball as your sport.
I chose baseball as my sport because I just felt like this is something that I wanted to do. I originally played basketball and baseball my freshman year, and, after playing my freshman year, I felt like baseball was my sport for me.
So you got 3 up, 3 down, obviously, and as soon as you came off the mound, you were greeted by your teammates. That's got to make you feel good.
Yes, it makes you feel great.
And a lot of the guys like yourself, you haven't played as much this year. The young guys came in and they all contributed, so that's got to make things a lot happier in that dugout.
Yes, seeing the young guys do good makes us all feel great.
You got a doubleheader tomorrow at Farragut, not against the Admiral, so you're going to. Coach Free rested a lot of guys today, so how important is it to get those 2 games under your belt against 2 good teams as you head to Gulf Shores?
It means a lot for us. If we get these 2 wins, we'll feel great going to Gulf Shores and playing our next tournament.
Last year, a state tournament 2 years in a row. Can this team make it back to Murfreesboro?
For sure.
What's it going to take?
It's going to take all of us, every single one of us.
Well, Dylan, I appreciate it. Congratulations on closing it out, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
You shake your hand there. Hopefully we'll get a chance to talk to Coach Travis Free. The Wildcats have won it 14-1. Hopefully Coach Free will join us in a minute. I'm going to put the mic down. Here he is. Here he comes. Coach, we'll let you stand this time. You'll be on camera.
Okay.
I'm going to sit. I'm old. There
He's
you
gonna
are.
be
I'll
out
have to
the
zoom in
camera.
on that one there, Caleb. There's Coach Travis Free. Coach, this game's about to start. I'm afraid we'll have but congratulations on the win. Good bounce back win.
Yeah, for sure. Offensively, we played well today. And once again, I think we do a combined no-hitter. We threw a lot of strikes. Did a lot of good things. It's good to see Cam get back out there. It was good to see Dylan get out there and get a clean inning. But offensively, we were able to play. I mean, I think we played like 16 or 17 people today. So that's good going into spring break. And, you know, we're still trying to fight for a couple spots, to be honest. So I was just telling them I need them some people to get some opportunities and take advantage of those opportunities. But it was definitely a good win today, and it was good for our team.
You know, obviously an unearned run, and I thought Isaiah pitched really well for you. Like everyone, it was good to have Cheeto back too.
Yeah. Well, Isaiah would have stayed in there. In any other circumstance, Isaiah would have kept going. I mean, I think he threw 38 pitches on the day. So, but also we're a little tight in the week, right? Everything's been pushed back, and so now we got to turn around and be in Gulf Shores on Monday and have a starting pitcher. So, you know, there we go. We just saved that and preserved that. Hopefully we can get Isaiah back on the bump because we've got a tough day tomorrow. I mean, we got two really good teams in Jeff County and Providence. They're really good. So we're going to have to really bring it tomorrow. So it's nice to have a nice offensive day today, but tomorrow's going to be a dogfight, I think.
Coach, you mentioned all the guys that played, and they all contributed. I think all the guys that came off the bench, the young guys, contributed. They might have been hit by pitches to get RBIs and such, but they made plays. I thought Jonah made some nice plays. You just had an overall. Everybody who came in played well.
Yeah, we did. We didn't really we made one mistake. You know, Mikey boots the ball, makes a bad read, but outside that, we played a clean game, and it's been a while since I feel like we played a clean one, but. You know, it was good for us. Last night was hard on us. It still is hard. We still feel the after effect of last night, but, you know, today was nice to kind of take a step back and be able to do some things that we wanted to do on offense and get better at, and we did that.
You said last night that you were going to ease Cam Welch in. He came in humming it. I mean, he was just throwing fastball after fastball that first batter. He looked really good.
He needed a low-stress inning for his first one. I mean, like me and him were talking in the dugout. His nerves were there. He was nervous. Like he was, you know, that's not normal for him because he's so used to pitching in it. So I felt good about trying to get him in a low-stress inning. Tomorrow, I hope to get him in another inning tomorrow. And then hopefully at the beach we can kind of increase the workload slowly as we go. That, you know, by late April we got him taking the ball for 110 like he used to do all the time last year. But he'll be ready.
Coach, I appreciate it. Congratulations, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to you all for constantly being here and supporting us. It's made a huge difference in our program, and I'm glad everybody gets to kind of watch us every single day and kind of see what Oak Ridge baseball is about.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate that. It's Coach Travis Free. That about does it here from CAK. The Wildcats win it by a score of 14-1. We appreciate Dylan Woody, Caleb Riker for doing our technical work. Our next broadcast will be tomorrow at 12 noon when the Wildcats take on the Jefferson County Patriots. We'll have the broadcast on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. For Dylan and Caleb, this is David Clary saying so long, everybody.